First Lady of the Republic of Botswana, Mrs. Neo Jane Masisi. Your Honor, Slamba Tsohwane, Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, Minister of Minerals and Energy, Honorable Lefoko Maxwell Moari, Honorable Ministers here present, Honorable Assistant Ministers here present, Members of Parliament, Permanent Secretary to the President and Secretary to the Cabinet, Ms. Emma Beloetlezi, Attorney General, Ms. Makom Pelechang Abram, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Beatrice de Moray, Ambassadors and High Commissioners here present, His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Austin Abraham, President, World Diamond Council, Ms. Farrell Zeruki, heads of the international organizations, Commander of the Botswana Defense Force, Commander of Botswana Police Service, Permanent Secretaries and heads of parastatals here present, Chief Executive Officer, De Beers Group, Mr. Al Cook, Resident Director, De Beers Botswana, Mr. Neo Moroka, Chairperson of the Board of Directors, Special Economic Zones Authority, Ms. Rorisang Mudikana, as well as the De Beers Group, Debswana Diamond Trading Company, Botswana board members, executive teams here present, Kimberley Process members here present, senior government officials here present, chief executive officers and captains of industry, De Beers Group site holders, members of the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very, very good morning. Once again, I'd like to welcome you to the 2023 Natural Diamond Summit and remind you or let you know that my name is Kathy Malajani and I will be serving as your MC for today. Now, we're very pleased to be able to come together this morning from all across the world to come and discuss what is arguably the most important topic of our time: sustainability, people, product, and planet. Now, this morning, as well as over the next few days, we have a very, very exciting program that will allow to not only delve into the key considerations around sustainability with leading experts whose work is at the heart of issues around sustainability, but to also experience firsthand how prudent diamond as well as natural resource management in general can catalyze a sustainable approach to growth and development that can benefit industries, whole nations, as well as the world at large. And the plan and wish is to use Botswana as an example. Now, in keeping with the theme, we have tried to adhere to sustainable practices as much as possible for this conference. We're using digital platforms, as I've already mentioned, the application that I talked about. So throughout the summit, that is where you can get all the information. We're trying to be as paperless as possible. If you will have a look at our backstage, it is made out of cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, our chandeliers as well as fixtures are all sourced and made from natural materials. Something else that's very special about this space is that it is the flagship of the country's special economic zones. Now, this work, live, as well as play zone has been themed the Diamond City, the Diamond and Logistics City, and it's got investment opportunities in a wide range of facilities and opportunities. These include diamond cutting as well as polishing. These include the International Diamond School. These include jewelry making, as well as industrial drills, saws, as well as branding machines, just to name a few. The objective is to grow an export-led economy driving economic diversification as well as sustainability by optimizing the diamond value chain. Renewable energy, sustainable water management, as well as waste management are amongst the many facets that have been infused when designing this particular zone, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we commence the program, please do allow me to reiterate a few important issues. So as I've already said, the entire program of the summit is available on the application. If you go to the Play Store or the iStore and download Natural Diamond Summit, you will find this application. It has all the information. Once again, a reminder of our Wi-Fi. It is called Natural Diamond, and the password is capital letter NDS at 2023. Should you experience any difficulties, please do approach one of the ushers. They will be able to help you. Also, another quick reminder, the bathrooms are to the right of the dome. They are available through the exit. I believe you would exit through the entrance and walk around. They are situated on the right of the dome. And then finally, in case of an emergency, please do follow directions from the event organizers. They will be able to provide clear instructions on what exactly to do and where to go. We would, however, like to assure you that all safety issues have been thoroughly considered and we do not anticipate any incidents. Now, at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on the Chief Executive Officer of De Beers Group, Mr. Al Cook, who will be coming to give us some opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Dr. MOKGWEETSI MASISI, President of the Republic of Botswana, and the First Lady of the Republic of Botswana, Mrs. Neo Jane Masisi. Your Honor, Slamba Tshowani, Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, Minister of Minerals and Energy, Honourable Lethoko Maxwell Mawahi, Honourable Ministers here present, Honourable Assistant Ministers here present, Members of Parliament, Permanent Secretary to the President and Secretary to the Cabinet, Ms. Emma Peloet-Letse, Attorney General, Ms. Mako Pelagang Abraham, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Beatriz de Moraes, Ambassadors and High Commissioners here present, His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Austin Abraham, President, World Diamond Council, Ms. Ferial Zaruki, heads of the international organizations, Commander of the Botswana Defence Force, Commissioner of Botswana Police Service, Permanent Secretaries and heads of parastatals here present, Resident Director, De Beers Botswana, Mr. Neo Moroka, Chairperson of the Board of Directors, Special Economic Zones Authority, Ms. Rorisang Morikana, De Beers Group, Botswana and Diamond Trading Company, members and executive teams here present, Kimberley Process members here present, senior government officials here present, chief executive officers and captains of industry, De Beers site holders, members of the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. To understand the significance of a natural diamond is to understand time itself. Everything about a diamond is long-term. Billions of years in the making. Each one can remain absolutely perfect for billions of years still to come. And there is no better model for the long-term good that diamonds can do than the Republic of Botswana. Actually, Botswana is an example of the good that can be done with diamonds. A diamond, after all, is an inanimate object, incapable of anything without human intent. And in Botswana, generations of Botswana have moved with deliberate and prudent intent to turn their natural resource into shared natural wealth. But diamonds are a finite resource, And that is why we are committed to ensuring that they are adding value to the environment that we work in and the communities we work with every moment of every day. De Beers is deeply honoured to join with the government of the Republic of Botswana in welcoming you to the 2023 Natural Diamond Summit. Together, we will explore the role of diamonds in sustainability. In his most recent State of the Union, State of the Nation address, His Excellency, President MASISI, noted the following words: "Our diamonds are truly for development. They do not just sparkle, but they catalyze our development." When His Excellency and the Botswana talk about that, while the Botswana dream has been built by diamonds over decades, in the future, the global diamond dream will be built by Botswana. In a changing and challenging world, the solidity and stewardship of Botswana stands apart. Under the leadership of His Excellency President MASISI, Botswana remains an example to the world of the transformative power of the prudent management of a natural resource. We live in a time when sudden shifts in our geopolitical and macroeconomic contexts are destabilizing and lead some to question their positions. The diamond industry is not immune, and 2023 has been an exceptionally difficult year, as global forces have conspired to slow trading across the diamond pipeline. Following 2 years of record diamond demand and sales in 2021 and 2022, the global economy slowed earlier this year as inflation took root. As a result, consumers chose to defer discretionary purchases, which, in turn, has led to one of the most significant diamond downturns in recent memory. In this challenging context, I would like to share my confidence in the future of diamonds. When you feel unstable, when it feels like the ground is shifting under your feet, you assess your position by checking on your foundations. When I check our foundations, I am buoyed by 3 clear facts, and I am ready to build upon them. First, despite a slowdown this year, the foundations of natural diamonds remain solid and strong. While we have already passed the peak of natural diamond supply, demand for natural diamonds is set to grow into the future. With more than 100 million people entering the middle class in China and India over the next decade, diamonds will remain sought after. Second, the strong foundations of Botswana will underpin the evolution and its evolution to become the world's most important diamond nation. President MASISI's focus on building a knowledge-based economy will support innovation and productivity in diamonds. Thirdly, and finally, the government of Botswana and De Beers' new sales agreement and the extension of the Botswana mining licenses represent a new partnership for a new era. It is a transformative agreement that will see Botswana grow its share of Botswana's diamonds that it sells into the market. It will enable long-term capital investment in important projects like Zwaneng Underground, and it can create tens of thousands of new jobs here in Botswana. We in De Beers are increasing beneficiation to establish this country as a natural jewellery manufacturing centre and building a flagship institute of diamonds here in Gaborone. But perhaps decades from now, when our successors look back, it will actually be the creation of the multi-billion Pula Diamonds for Development Fund that will be the most enduring element of the agreement in the diversification of Botswana's economy. Our partnership with the Republic of Botswana has endured for more than 50 years, not by standing still, but by evolving. This new agreement demonstrates the vision of the government to look beyond mining, to look even beyond natural resources, to grow sustainably the prosperity of the people of Botswana for decades to come. Natural diamond supply and demand, Botswana's natural diamond leadership, and a new diamond partnership for a new era. These are three strong foundations from which to build. The question for all of us in the room is, what will we build upon these foundations? And that, the theme of this year's conference, sustainability, people, product, and planet, is core to the partnership between the world's leading diamond country and the world's leading diamond company. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the trust you have placed in De Beers as we adopt your aspirations for Botswana's future as our own. A future in which Botswana's national treasure compels us to treasure nature. A future in which finite value below the ground creates infinite opportunity above the ground. And a future in which a natural diamond represents not just for the person who wears it, but for the miner who discovers it, the cutter and polisher who unlocks its brilliance, and the craftsman or woman who creates natural jewelry designs that inspire people around the world, forever. We see this future happening right here, and we believe that forever begins right now. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Al Cook, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to call on the Minister of Minerals and Energy, the Honorable Lefoko Maxwell Moagi, to come forward and give us the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric MASISI, President of the Republic of Botswana, and the First Lady of the Republic, Her Excellency Mayor Neo Jane Masisi. Honorable Ministers and Assistant Ministers here present, Honorable Members of Parliament, Permanent Secretary to the President, Mayor MOKGWEETSI, Attorney General Mayor Abraham, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Murray, Ambassadors and High Commissioners here present, His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Austin Abraham, President, World Diamond Council, Mayor Feriel Zeruki, heads of international organizations, Commander of the Botswana Defense Force and Commissioner of Botswana Police, Permanent Secretaries and heads of parastatals here present, Resident Director, De Beers Botswana Remoroka, Chairperson of CESA, Mayor Orisa Mudikana, De Beers, Botswana and DTC, board members and executive teams here present, members of the Kimberley process here present, including your Civil Society Coordinator, Dr. Michael Yobuye, senior government officials, chief executives here present, and captains of industry, De Beers side holders and other side holders here present, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. Distinguished guests, it is indeed a very warm welcome to you all. It is my honor and privilege to share these remarks at the Natural Diamond Summit this year. I stand before you not only as the portfolio minister and a citizen of a nation that has been, continues to be, at the forefront of the global diamond industry, but also as a champion for a cause that is paramount to all of us, the rethinking of our approach to sustainability in the diamond world. The natural diamond industry has been in existence for hundreds of years. Throughout its history, the industry has experienced many changes, from major technological advances that have transformed productivity and supported value chain development, to the consolidation of industry players and emergence of new diamond centers. The sector has seen major evolution and has continued to grow and expand to become an important driver of economic development in producer countries and across the value chains. The industry has thrived for decades, transcending many global challenges that have seen other industries and major corporations fail to survive. However, the strategies and approach to business that have seen us through the last 100 years will not necessarily be sufficient to take us to the next century. As has been discussed already, the diamond industry is once again in the midst of major global challenges, and this time the difficulties seem more extensive. These challenges compel us to really consider how we move forward. Our diamonds are not just gems, they are the foundation upon which the hope and promise of our economies has been built. They are the engine through which our aspirations for greater wealth, more diversified economies, the development of people, and a fairer and equitable future can be realized. But this potential can only be fully harnessed if we embrace a new paradigm, one that places sustainability at its very core. Distinguished guests, Botswana has developed a strong narrative around diamond production and responsible natural resource management in general, and over the years has become a top performer on the continent across many indices as a result of its excellent sustainability practices. The question is, how does the country, other diamond-producing nations, and the entire value chain work together to build on the successes to date and ensure the industry remains a catalyst for sustainable growth and development into the future? Value chain development is indeed one of the key pillars of our research and reclaim agenda. A number of critical issues need to be considered as follows. As an industry and as a diamond-producing nation collectively, what stories do we want to be able to share with the world about a diamond journey and impact? How do we demonstrate commonality of interest on the issues of sustainability that is so powerful that the consumer wants to be a part of? What role and responsibility do we all take in protecting the natural environment? How do we minimize harm and generate opportunities for the future? How will these opportunities impact people and livelihoods? How do we ensure that people remain at the center of what we do? What needs to happen in order for them to realize their full potential and become co-participants and contributors to our collective vision for a better future? This applies to people within our organizations and beyond. Natural diamonds can be a catalyst for more equitable development of producer countries. How will we collectively support value addition and beneficiation in the country in a sustainable way? Furthermore, how can we use diamond revenue to generate more momentum around economic diversification? And how do we bring the consumer along this journey with us? as I draw to a close, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in its over 100 years of existence, there's a great deal that the diamond industry has achieved. It is critical that we expand the good industry practices to other sectors and leverage the product to support people and the planet more broadly, the two things without which nothing else can exist. This is in recognition that the good that we do has to extend beyond our day-to-day business. We must lead by example and set the standard for sustainable business practices more broadly. Why is it so important that we act in unison? Unlike any other sector, the diamond industry is very closely integrated. This means challenges in one part of the value chain potentially impact the future of the collective. And for Botswana, of course, anything that impacts the industry has a bearing on the entire economy. And conversely, anything that impacts the producer countries potentially has an impact on the diamond industry. This means we must ensure good practices across the board and support each other, but also hold each other accountable. We will have a chance to interrogate some of these issues in depth during the panel discussions. I hope that we'll be able to use this opportunity to challenge ourselves on a practical level to integrate sustainability more into our day-to-day operations. Lastly, our vision should extend far beyond our current leadership. We must think in terms of generations, ensuring that the benefits of the diamond industry remain a source of pride and prosperity for our descendants. I thank you for your kind attention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to welcome on stage today for the keynote address His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric MASISI. Well known for his visionary leadership and his immense energy to propel Botswana forward. Your Excellency, I welcome you to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Kindly take your seats. The Director of Ceremonies, Ms. Kathy Malijani, my dear wife, the First Lady of the Republic, Your Excellency Neo Jane Masisi, Your Honor, the Vice President, and I apologize on behalf of the Minister for not remembering you are here. Mr. Slamba Zuhwane, Member of Parliament for Weteti West, Minister of Minerals and Energy, Honorable Lefukumwari, and Member of Parliament Ramotswa, other ministers and assistant ministers here present, Member of Parliament for this constituency, Honorable Mpoba Lopi, and other members of Parliament here present, the Chief Executive Officer of De Beers Group, and also Board Chairperson of Dipswana, Mr. Alcock, who spoke like a man. Permanent Secretary to the President, Ms. MOKGWEETSI, and also the Deputy Board Chairperson of De Beers of Dipswana in Botswana, the Attorney General of the Republic, Ms. Marco Abraham, members of the Diplomatic Corps and heads of international organizations, board chairpersons and board members, chief executive officers in the teams of Dipswana, De Beers, Diamond Trading Company, CESA, ODC, the President of the World Diamond Council, Mr. Feriel Zeroki, and your executive team, heads of security organs, all permanent secretaries, heads of parastatals and captains of industry, senior government officials, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. It is indeed my distinct privilege to address you today, marking exactly 1 year since my last speech at the 2022 Natural Diamond Summit, which was held right here in Gaborone. At that time, our discussions revolved around a competing plea for unity in the pursuit of sustainable partnerships and collaborations while harnessing the transformative potential of diamond beneficiation. This rallying cry, which sought to strengthen our diamond industry for the years ahead and breathe life into our economies amidst the challenging backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic, was not merely a call to action, but a resounding vision for a brighter future. Today, I stand before you with an even greater sense of urgency and purpose. The challenges we face have evolved, but the importance of our mission remains as vital as ever. Our diamond industry is a cornerstone of not only our economies, but of our heritage, a symbol of resilience and a testament of human spirit's ability to shine through adversity, and our collective duty to safeguard its enduring impact and legacy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have already made strides in the direction of sustainable partnerships and collaborations where industry players, government, and communities are working together to unlock the full potential of our precious resources. We have recognized the power of mineral beneficiation not only as a means to increase the value, but as a catalyst for social and economic development. Now, as we find ourselves at a critical juncture, we must remember the promises we made at the 2022 Natural Diamond Summit. Our collective commitment to building a resilient diamond industry must not ever waver, for it is the cornerstone upon which we will not only secure our economic revival, but also craft a legacy of prosperity for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my clarion call to all. Let's all redouble our efforts, rekindle the spirit of collaboration, and reinforce our sustainable and strong partnerships. Our industry's future is within our grasp, and together we can shape our future diamond journey into a shining testament that maximizes human ingenuity and determination. To this end, I am elated to inform you, as you may already have been informed, I suspect, that as the government of Botswana and De Beers Group, we have heeded this call to action and entered into a historic agreement which is guaranteed to transform Botswana's diamond story as we stand as an unequivocal global beacon, showcasing an unwavering partnership that champions sustainable economic progress. As we celebrate this milestone, we remain alive to the fact that evolving consumer preferences in key markets, challenging market conditions in the midstream, and the ever-changing complexities of diamond mining require that we should take intentional steps to secure a lasting positive impact for all players across the diamond pipeline, from producer countries to consumer markets. The critical point of congruence for us as the diamond industry is sustainability. Building upon the previous year's discussions, our theme for this year will shine a spotlight on 3 critical pillars that hold up this important subject of our time: sustainability, people, product, planet, the 3 Ps. As we deep dive into each pillar, we are challenged to answer the critical question on the additional efforts required to catalyze a more inclusive, dynamic, socially and environmentally conscious ecosystem that drives sustainable development through multi-sectoral synergies. Dear guests, this is the reason, as the government of Botswana, we stand tall in the knowledge that we have been able to transform our own economy and by extension support livelihoods predominantly through the discovery of diamonds, but more importantly, the prudent management of these shining and rare valuable stones. The development of people is a crucial ingredient for the long-term success of producer countries. And this has been a priority for Botswana since the discovery of diamonds. Hence, a purposeful endeavor was made to guarantee the sustainability of natural resources with a specific focus on diamonds because they are pivotal to the development of the country and all Botswana, not just a few. We commit to making our people proud as we fly our blue, black and white national brands through a robust people-centric economic planning, as well as policies and visions that mirror the views and aspirations of Botswana, infrastructure development, and most importantly, making access to education, healthcare, social support, a basic human right to all citizens. In this regard, our previous National Development Plan 11 set out a fiscal rule whereby 40% of mineral revenues would be saved in the form of financial assets for future generations, while the remainder would be invested in infrastructure and human capital development. These are some of the clear commitments made to ensure the development of our people in the long term is assured. More broadly, the development of human capital is indeed imperative in addressing issues of income inequality and social ills which hinder real sustainable development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the mineral-endowed nations of the world should recognize the invaluable lessons that Botswana can offer in transforming our fragile economies. We come a long way, and through the passage of time, we have amassed so much knowledge in mining ecosystems. The government of Botswana is ready to unleash our men and women with sought-after skills into the world for Botswana to share her ingenuity, knowledge, and experiences in mining, in particular, the governance of mining. This will be through diplomatic channels as well as through profit-seeking government and private entities as we grow our human capital value chain and the Botswana Diamond brand. We recognize the value of our people and the role they play in transforming diamonds into value. And through the spirit of comradeship and Botho, we stand ready to assist where our expertise is needed, particularly in mining operations in other developing nations. The development of value chains across the priority sectors in Botswana, including and especially in the diamond industry, presents a great opportunity for the economy. But the success of those value chains is dependent on our ability to support the development of our people, to facilitate the entry into the mining-related businesses in the mid and the downstream. Our prudent oversight of our diamonds and other natural resources is an open secret. As Botswana, we have committed from the very beginning to comply with the best practice principles, BPP, such as the Kimberley process, the National Diamond Council requirements, and International Council on Metals and Minerals, ICMM. This has positioned Botswana diamond industry into the highest standards of compliance in mining clean and risk-free diamonds. In addition, the legislation and structures that are in place not only secure and ensure that natural resources are used to support broad-based economic development, but that the governance and operations of these natural resources adhere to sustainability principles and requirements. As you'll be aware, diamonds from Orapa, Letlhakane, Karowe, Damtsa, and Jone mines traverse the world and have adored the hearts of countless consumers and lovers. Yes, lovers. In order to provide source assurance and ensure consumer confidence in our product, necessary investment has been made to enable traceability of these diamonds. The historic decision for Botswana to host the Kimberley Process Permanent Secretariat bears testament to our commitment as a country to responsible sourcing and the critical work done by the KP in stemming the flow of conflict diamonds from global markets. We, as Botswana and others, will protect the KP, the Kimberley Process, and refuse to be party to its undermining, particularly as we engage with our partners globally to ensure enhanced traceability throughout the world. The provenance of Botswana diamonds is top of mind in our journey of transformation. Distinguished gentlemen and ladies, we are all aware that our world is facing significant environmental challenges, from climate change to deforestation, air and water pollution to the extinction of species. In this regard, the Botswana Diamond Company is committed to be carbon neutral by 2030. The use of solar energy and biodiesel have already started at all Botswana mines, and the plan is to scale up these projects in 2024. This summit will provide an opportunity for you to experience our unique culture, which is wonderfully weaved with principles of conservation and how we coexist with our environment. The preservation of our natural wonders, such as the Okavango Delta, is not only an environmental issue, but also an economic and social one. We believe that by protecting our environment, we can secure livelihoods and improve the well-being of our communities. We can also protect our natural and cultural heritage while spurring economic growth and employment creation. To achieve this, we have adopted a multi-sectoral approach to conservation, leveraging research and innovation championed by academia, private sector-led global partnerships, legislative reforms, and community participation, as well as engagements underpinned by Pillar 3 of our National Vision 2036. And as I conclude, I am hopeful that through your engagement with subject matter experts during this summit, you will gain valuable insights on our journey to create practical solutions that balance economic development with environmental protection. I wish you well in your deliberations. Let us continue to strive to be the good stewards of our people, product, and planet. I thank you for your attention, and let it rain as we wish in Botswana.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. At this point, we will be calling for our vote of thanks, which will be coming from Executive Director, World Diamond Council, Ms. Elodie Daguzan.
His Excellency Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Kebetswe Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana. Her Excellency the First Lady of the Republic of Botswana, Ms. Neo-Jane Masisi. Honorable Lefoko Moahi, Minister of Minerals and Energy. Cabinet Ministers here present. Assistant Ministers here present. Mr. Al Cook, CEO of the Beers Group. Permanent Secretary to the President and Secretary to the Cabinet, Mrs. MOKGWEETSI. Heads of international organizations here present, permanent secretaries here present, the Beers Group executive team here present, members of the Kimberley process, chief executive officers, captains of the industry, members of the media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we officially open the Natural Diamond Summit in the beautiful setting of Botswana. The theme for this summit, sustainability, people, product, planet, encapsulate the essence of our collective commitment to fostering a responsible and thriving diamond industry. It is a great pleasure for me to have been invited to give the vote of thanks of this opening ceremony. In this regard, let me express on behalf of this summit our sincere gratitude to His Excellency Dr. MOKGWEETSI Eric Kebetswe Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, for gracing this occasion with his presence and delivering a keynote address. Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, the significance of the Natural Diamond Summit has already been articulated by His Excellency in this morning in this message. In his address, His Excellency highlighted key areas that we as representatives and leaders of the diamond industry must constantly keep top of our mind. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Honorable Lefoko Moahi, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Beers Group, Mr. Al Cook, for their remarks and for emphasizing the need for a more collaborative approach in order to realize the sustainable development goals we have all set for ourselves. In the spirit of sustainability, we recognize the interconnectedness of people, product, planet in shaping the future of our industry. Indeed, our journey in the diamond industry begins with the people, the heartbeat of our communities, the architects of our shared success. It is our responsibility to empower and support those who work tirelessly to extract, craft, and bring to the world those extraordinary symbols of love and endurance. Our commitment to the well-being, development, and safety of our workforce stands at the forefront of our sustainable endeavors. As has been expressed, diamonds are not mere commodities. They are enduring expressions of emotions, tokens of commitment, and treasures of lasting values. As we convene here today, let us reaffirm our dedication to responsible sourcing, ethical practices, and innovation that ensures the enduring allure of natural diamonds. By prioritizing transparency and integrity in our supply chains, we preserve the true essence and intrinsic value of our product. Let us also be stewards of the planet, ensuring that our actions today preserve the beauty and substance of nature for generations to come. On behalf of the World Diamond Council, and indeed on my own behalf, I challenge each one of us to promote sustainability across every facet of our industry. This summit would not have been possible without the collective effort of many dedicated men and women from across ministries and departments. I wish to thank the teams from the government of Botswana and the Beers Group for planning and coordinating this important event. In closing, I express my sincere gratitude to the hosts, the government of Botswana and the Beers Group for providing the ideal backdrop for this summit. May our discussions be fruitful, our collaborations enduring, and our commitment resolute as we embark on this collective journey towards a sustainable future for the diamond industry. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for attending, and I wish you an engaging and insightful Natural Diamond Summit.
Thank you so much, Elodie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the official opening ceremony of the 2023 Natural Diamond Summit. At this stage, I would like to ask that His Excellency, Dr. MOKGWEETSI MASISI, as well as the First Lady, Mrs. Neo Jane MASISI, as well as the Vice President, Your Honor, Slamba Tsohwane, Minister of Minerals and Energy, Honorable Lefoko Moagi. I also ask Mr. Al Cook, Chief Executive Officer, De Beers Group, as well as Resident Director, De Beers Botswana, Mr. Neo Moroka. Paul Rowley, Executive Vice President, Diamond Trading De Beers Group, as well as Permanent Secretary to the President, Emma Pelwetlezi, to please make their way to the stage for a photo opportunity. We will ask that those people that I've just called please start making their way to the stage and have a photo opportunity. We'll have a second set. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask that you stay standing. I believe that Our Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, needs to be departing. So please do remain standing as he makes his way out of the dome. Please do remain standing until he has actually departed from the dome. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for your cooperation this morning. At this point, we will take
thulaganyo ya ntlha ya go simolosa jalo phuthego ya Natural Diamond Summit jaaka ke ne ke tlhalositse simoloso jalo ke Tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI Masisi a bua dintlha tse di harologaneng ga go itebagangwa jalo le ditemane tsa tlholego a tlhalosa ga le ha sela Botswana tota segolobogolo le ipatlela bokopano kana partnerships tsa senela rutse e leng gore bontsi jwa dipoelo tsa bone di tlabe di akolwa ke Batswana o itse jalo gore o bua tsena against the backdrop ya tumalano e dirilweng ke le ha sela Botswana jaaka na tswa kgakala tlhalosa jalo gore le ha sela Botswana le batla go nna le sabe se se ntse segolobogolo mo e seng hela mo kepong ya ditemane mme go tswe mo kepong ya ditemane go apele go di tlhotlha le go di batlela mebaraka ke sabe se le ha sela Botswana le batlang go tsena mo go sone mme o itse jalo gore phuthego ya Motswana we se tla be tsweletse mosong ono go na le baitsana ba ba harologaneng ba gwebe le ba beeletsi mo mohameng wa ditemane go tla go lebelela jalo dikgwetlho tse di teng le dikatlego tse di setseng di kiletsang nna teng ga go lebelelwa jalo Natural Diamonds, the Natural Diamond Summit go tsile jalo re bona jalo tota mothusa Tautona Raslang Batsogwane go supa jalo ga go nna baeteledipele ba lehatshe leno botlhokwa jwa ditemane mo itsholelong ya lehatshe leno re solegela jalo gore e be re ka tswela re ntse re buisana mosong ono re buisana jalo le baitsana ba ba harologaneng re beletse jalo tsone ditemane tsa tlholego mo nakong ya gompieno Motswana we tshonte ke amogele jalo re Jacob Thamage a tswa jalo ko the Diamond Hub ke ralo ke re Thamage re setse re weditse jalo karolo ya ntlha ya phuthego ya the Natural Diamond Summit go ne go bua gongwe baeteledipele ba bagolo re lebeletse jalo Tautona Dr. MOKGWEETSI Masisi le moeteledipele wa company ya DBS re Cook gore ka nopola dintlha tse pedi tse tharo hela tse ba di buileng ha re itebagantse le the Natural Diamonds kana ditemane tsa tlholego
ke a leboga kgaitsedi ka dumela ke dumedisa le moreetsi ko gae jaaka re ne re utlwa tota phuthego ena e emeletse thata mo tsona ditemane tsena tsa tlholego mme dikganyana dingwe tse bagolo ba di buileng ke tsona hela ka bokamoso gore bokamoso ba ditemane tsena ke eng re le baeteledipele ba re tsamaisang gompieno kgwebo yana ditemane maikelo a rona ke eng re batla go tlogelela dikokomane tsa rona eng ke raya gore ke tsa hela gore ba ikepetse mo go tsona dikgang tseo mmatse
ke batla gongwe ha re simolola re lebelele jalo gone gore ha re ntse re lebelela dipego tse di tswang ko DBS kana dipego ga go supiwa le Tautona o supile jalo ha dira tekolo setšhaba beke e fetileng gore theko ya ditemane e wetse tlase go lomo go ka nna ga fokotsa lebelo la kgola itsholo ya lehatshe leno gongwe ka bo 3.8%. a re lebelele yone ntlha ya go wela tlase ga theko kana kgatlhego ya go reka ditemane mo go kaiwang mona gore go bakwa keng ra Thamage
ga itse ka ditemane ke nnete mo ngwageng yona ena ngwaga ena tota e wetse ko tlase re ne ra bona theko ya ditemane e wela ko tlase ka ngwaga ole o ne re wetswe ke segajaja sele sa COVID ne ra bona theko ya ditemane e wetse ko tlase mme ile morago ga mo ka ngwaga wa 2021 2022 theko ya ditemane ya kwa godimo ra itumela ra bona tota gore nya tsela e ya kwa go ne ga direga hela gore ngwaga ona wa 2023 ga o simologa theko ya ditemane ya simologa ya go tlase ka tsela e re sa tlhaloganyeng ka bofefo jo tota bo tshwenyang di price di tlhwatlhwa di ya go tlase go dirwa keng go dirwa ke seemo sa itsholelo mo mahatsheng ona a matona-tona a re beileng gore ke ona a rekang ditemane tsa rona jantlha ke bona ba America go America o itse gore seemo sa itsholelo go teng sa inflation sa di-interest rates dilo tse ke tsona tse di amang gore ditheko di ya go tlase kana theko ya ditemane ke dingwe sa dingwe tse di rekisiwang ka ba seesimane ba reng luxury goods yaanong di rekisiwa ka mo ba reng disposable income madi a e leng gore ga o sena go dira sengwe le sengwe a go saletse jaanong ka ijesa monate ka one madi ao maetsho a ntse a gokotsega a godilwa keng ke yona seemo sa itsholelo kgang ye nngwe gape isitseng teng theko ya ditemane ko tlase ke seemo sa ko China lefatshe la China le ntse itsholelo ya lona e dira sentle ke lona lengwe le nne le dira sentle morago ga la America mme le lona re ne ra bona theko ya ditemane ko go teng le yona ka ntata ya itsholelo ya teng e sa tsamaye jaaka e ne re sologetse le yona theko ya ditemane e be ya ko tlase jaanong maetsho ka na ntata eo re mo seemong tota se se bokete mo thekong ya ditemane
mme ha re le gona hana ra thamaga re lebella phuthego ya ditemane tsa tlholego kana re bua ka ditemane tsa tlholego go re di bounce off against tse dingwe tse di leng teng mme re tsone tse go nka setswanelang ka bona le hokole le bogadi bogao hikere gongwe tsa maitirelo tse di teng ga ke tsore ditemane tsa maitirelo tse di simolotseng go phunyeletsa mo mmarakeng di ama jang kgatlhego gongwe le theko ya ditemane tsa tlholego
ditemane tse kana tsa maitirelo erile ga di tsena mo marakeng la ntlha ne re sa di tseetsia mme madi di tsene ka metela di tsena ka metela yana gore tlhwatlhwa ya tsona e ko tlase ga ya tsa tlholego mme nna le wena gore o ka matlhogela jaane ga o ka ke wa harologanya gore nnyaa temane ye ke ya maitirelo e ke ya tlholego o tshwanetse o boele gore o dirisa maranyana a rileng o ka dira jalo ano ke gona mo e leng gore mo bagweng ba reking ga a tsena ko lebenkeleng a re ya go reka a bona temane ke ena e nngwe gate ke 500 e nngwe ke ena gate ke 10,000 ga a tlhaloganye gore ke eng mme gantsi go ra gore ba reka mo go tabeng go le ko tlase ga tlhwatlhwa re bone mo dingwageng tse pedi tse tharo tse di hetileng e le gore theko ya tsona ditemane tse tsa maitirelo tsena e ntse ya kwa godimo mme e ja mo go na mmaraka ona wa rona wa ditemane tsa tlholego ene ya kwa godimo ka seemo se se tshosang bogolo jang kwa lona lefatshe la America kwa go ditemane gantsi di rekwa teng
barati ba gongwe ba buelang yone thata yone temane e re ka reng ke ya maitirelo ene ba bua ga ba e rekisa ba e bapatsa ba bua gore gongwe ga go lebelelwa dikgang tsa tlhokomelo tikologo go itsa kgotlelesego ya tikologo gongwe ka ga e dirwang ka teng ga go kgotlele tikologo jaaka ko meepong ga repa ditemane ke sa gore ke ntlha engwe e leng gore ba ko pele ga ba kgatlha bareki ga ke itse gore gongwe re bua ka re botlolela ka ko mogameng wa Kimberley process go ne go ntse go na le kgang ya gore gongwe re leke go nna re fefo ga teng re le ba sesha tota kgang ena ya conflict diamonds ga sa tlhola ile gongwe conflict e le kgantse le tsa bogologolo tsa dintwa batho ba bola go tswa ditemane mahala mo mahatsheng a nang a ditemane gongwe re lebelle le tsone dikgantsone tsena tsa bokgotlelo tikologo di akarediwe mo go defining conflict diamond ke batla gongwe re tlhatlhologele mo go tsone dikgantso ga re lebella natural diamonds versus lab grown diamonds
kana mongwe le mongwe ga ithekisa o ithekisa ka mo a ratang ka teano ga se ba ipala mabala a kgaka batho ba teng ba re bona tsa bona ga di senye sepe ga di senye tikologo ebile ga di tsose dintwa mo mahatsheng ba re tsa rona tsa tlholego di ntse jalo mme maitso jaaka ke bua ke go ithekisa hela ga go a nna jalo le tsona kana ditemane tseo go di dira go tsaya dilo tse dintsintsi jaaka yona kgotetso tsa kgotetso di dirisa energy e ntsintsi e re sa bueng gore e ya go ka mente ke seko nte ke bue ka tsa rona tsa di natural gore na tsa rona tsa tlholego re bona tiro e ntsintsi e di dirang mo Botswana mona jaaka Tautona na bua rona ba Debswana re setse re na le maikelo a mantsintsi a tsweletseng a gore ditemane tsa rona e re ka 2030 be le mo re go teng carbon neutral re sa tlhwe re na le re khotlela loapi tse di khotlela loapi re di hedisitse re dirisa maranyane a letsatsi gore go di mining tsa rona jaanong ga re tsena mo yona ya Kimberley process maitso kana Kimberley process e tsile yana ka yona ntata ya gore go ne gotwe e seng le gotwe go ne go na le kile ga nna le tiriso botlhaso ya ditemane tse nneng go ba ne ba lwantsha mebuso ba rekisa ditemane ba reka ditlhoboro be ba dira mogona ba tsulla ditshwanelo tsa batho mme le kgotla Kimberley process maletsi le anang tota le na le dingwaga di ka nna 20 tota di lwantwa ena go na le ha re kgonneng teng go na le ha re sa kgonneng teng ha re sa kgonneng teng ke gona he mo ba reng nyame e ka re kganye ya rona e re buang gore ditemane tse di leswe ke dife conflict diamonds gore gongwe go ka okediwa lentswe le gore le tse ditemane tse dingwe tse e leng gore bangwe ba re le tsona nyake ke tse di tsosang dikgoberega jaanong ke kganyelo gore mae santse pala le go rianeng re ntse re le ko Zimbabwe beke hetileng yena go padile la ntlha re palwa re nna bosigo botlhe mme ga pala gore re tswe ka mo go teng communique ke yone re gantsi re hetsa phuthego ya rona ya Kimberley process re hela re dirile e le supang gore re dumelane se le se re a go dira se le se a ke bua gompieno ana kgaitse diaka re santse re mehela re tsa gore mo dibekeng tse di tlang re tla bentse re tsweletse ka kgannye
mme gongwe ra thamaka ka o setse o buile what are the contentious issues
ke mathata ke ntwa ya Russia le Ukraine ke gona tota e re kgaoganyang mo Kimberley process ke yona hela tota ha mathata a leng teng bangwe ba re nya temane tsa Russia ke tsona tsa conflict bangwe ba re nya ha re lebeletse ja tumelano tse di dirilweng gore re bitsa lebitso le re fang conflict diamonds ke lefe ga di tsene hoe jaanong ke yona ntwa ma e re kgaogantse le gore anong re makgamu ka ntateng yeo mme ke sona se re palisitseng le gore re nne le tumelelano
ga ke tsora mo seemong sa go ka tlhalosa gore lehatshe la Botswana lone in that debate e fola ga kae
lehatshe la Botswana ga o lebelela jaaka ntse re buana re nna kana ba gaetsho ra re ditemane di ka dirisiwa mme ebile tla le bone gore ditemane di ka dirisiwa jang mme ga o bua ka seemo sa lehatshe la Botswana mo seemong se se diragalang ko Ukraine le ko Russia o tshwanetse o lebelele ko boemong ba rona jo botona ko United Nations ke gona kwa kgannye rona re tse reng teng mme di vote tsa rona kgotsa tshwetso tsa rona mo kgannye di bona teng ko United Nations
gongwe ga re wela ke tle ke re alo pele ga ke go gola ra thamaga ke re ne ra kopana ra buisana mo nakong e hetileng nako ene lehatshe la Botswana le ipapaletsa gore le nne lone boremelelo ja the Kimberley Process Secretariat ke selo se se neng sa tloa ke mahatshe gongwe ke a itse gore tautona o na ga tekodiso beke e hetileng ka nako a sona gore dithulaganyo tsa go baakanyetsa gore e be ka simolola go dira mono gae di tsweletse gongwe ne re ka lemotsha Motswana gore maiteko a nang a phatlaladitswe tautona a supile ipapatsa lehatshe ka bophara go tsamaya kae gore that secretariat e be ka simolola go dira mono gae
secretariat kgaitsedi yaka e rile ka plenary yone ne mo Botswana ngogola ka November gone ga dumelwa gore Botswana e tla secretariat e tla nna mo Botswana mme ebile e tla simolla ka ngwago tlang ka ngwaga o simolola ka January re ntse re siane re ipaakanya rona re ba Botswana re ipaakantse yana yona gona ko phuthego re tswang go yona ene dikgang tse ne ba tshwanetse ba di dire nngwe tona e ne le gona ya gore ba hire motho yo tla tsamaisa mo tlabele executive secretary mme go ntse a lona yona a supile gore ba tla tiro eo o ne ga dumelelana ka ene tshwarelo mme mathata a magolo ke gona gore jaanong ga ra dumela yona communique jaanong le ga go ka menne go dumelelana gore motho ke yona jaanong ko bohelong ka gore ga gona communique re santse re eme ga rena executive secretariat re na le motho re ka reng yes ke yona ke executive secretariat mme ga nka je ka ro hirilwe ka ntata gore ga ise re dumelelane ka communique ga ise na dumelelana ke dintlha dingwe tse di mo go yona tse di tabeng di re nya re se mamang o hirilwe o ka simolla yaanong ke yona kgang e le gore ra re bitse ka ga mosing rona re le Botswana
gongwe re wele ka gone gore re sologela gore phuthego e re thamage ga re atlegile ga tsatsi leno le phirima go bo go itebagantswe le dintlha tsege ebile go ntse le tumalano e papametseng gore bokamoso jwa kgwebo ya ditemane tsa tlholego bo tshwanetse jwa nna jang
ke kopa o nko boele potsono
ne ke re alo ke re ne re sologela gore ga re phuthego e atlegile phirimaneng eno ga e wela ne re sologela gore go nne le dintlha tsege tse di papametseng tse di buang ka bokamoso jwa ditemane tsa tlholego
emma re solofela gore sa ntlha tota jaaka ne re bua phuthego e gompieno jaaka mo re dirileng ka teng re rile no ga ra ba mo go bueng hela re le batho a batle go bona experiential ke sona se re batlang go se dira jaanong re eletsa gore batho ba tle ba ye ko mine ba ye go bona gore ga re re rona mo Botswana ditemane tse tsa tlholego re di epa yane ga re re somarelo tikologo re dira jane bo ba bona gore re bua ka eng ga re re eletsa go nna le value chain mo Botswana re batla gore ba ye go bona madirelo a rona mo gaborone a dirang a rethefatsang tsona ditemane so ga re batle nna gore gompieno e nne puo hela ka molomo re batla gore batho ba tswegana ba bone ka matlho ga ke batla gore ba iponetse ba bone ka matlho gore ra re
ke go lebogile thata re thamage re leleletsa phuthego e atlegileng
go leboga nna kgaitsedi
Motswana wetso ke ne ke le hano gone ha ke buisana le Re Thamage a tswa jalo ka ko Diamond Hub a bua ka dikgang tse di harologaneng tse di amang tsone ditemane tsena tsa tlholego re tla bo re tlhotse gone hana mosong wa gompieno re lebeletse re kopane le dibui ba itsanape ba harologaneng go tswelela ba bua gore go tshwanetse ga dirwang go netehatsa isago e lotameng isago e nonneng ha go tla go lebeletse tsone ditemane tsena tsa tlholego go buile jalo segolo bogolo gore se se tshwenyang mo nakong ya gompieno ke gore go bo go ntse lekwelo tlase ya tota ya theko kana kgatlhego mo ditemaneng mo sebakeng sa one ngwaga o kgatlhano le ka ganong go ntse go diragala ka teng mo dingwageng tse pedi tse di hitileng tautona leno na bua jalo ha a lekodisa setšhaba beke hitileng a tlhalosa jalo gore itsholelo ya lehatshe leno e tla ba ewetse jalo ka 3.8% mme segolo bogolo seo se bakiwa jalo ke yone kwelo tlase ya theko ya ditemane mme ha go bua ka ditemane Motswana wetso ga re ka ke ra di kgaoganya jaaka ke ntse ke bua le ditemane tse e leng gore tsone ke tsa malatseng a tse di bujang jalo gongwe gote tsa maitirelo kana lab grown diamonds mme re tlabentse re bua jalo ha re bua re lebelela se se molemo ka ditemane tsa tlholego re le gore di tshwantse tsa sirelediwa jang re tla bo re lebile tsone dintlha tse pedi tso mme re tswela jalo le dipuisano tsa rona mo nakong ya gompieno. Let me welcome you, sir, and allow you to introduce yourself this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. So my name is Alexander Gul. I'm a representative of the World Diamond Council, and I also a business owner myself. I have a company in Germany. We're the biggest wholesaler in Germany for Polish goods.
A good meeting, an interesting meeting. We're talking about natural diamonds this year, quite a clear theme: sustainability, people, product, and planet. In the context of this theme, how do you relate to that as a business person yourself and as the World Diamond Council?
I think that as a business owner, I can tell you that I don't know any other industry that are making so much efforts in order to be sustainable, in order to promote ethical sourcing like the diamond industry. So I think that the perception that the industry is opaque is completely false at the moment. Of course, it's a high-profile industry, therefore any movement would affect a lot of people's life, but I believe that at the end of the day, because we're working together, because it's a relatively small industry, and because we know our path, I believe that we are going towards an optimum way.
When we talk about natural diamonds, we can't divorce the conversation from the talk about lab-grown diamonds. They seem to be a big threat to the natural diamonds. I don't know what your view is when we talk about. There is a view that these are two different commodities that do not compete, but there is a view also that this one commodity could eat on the other, for lack of a better word. Eat as in, still sort of compete for the market.
I would like to distinguish between short-term and long-term. So, short-term, there is a profit to make. That's the truth. So the B2B prices and the B2C prices, there is a huge gap between them. And therefore, lots of companies can seize this opportunity and basically sell diamonds to customers that are not aware that a diamond that costs $100 is getting sold for $2,000. So there is an incentive for companies to basically promote it and enter this market. But of course the gap would be closed, and at the end of the day the price would be diminished. So as long as we have the detection devices to basically distinguish between natural and synthetics, then I think that we're good. Because at the end of the day people want luxury, they want things that are scarce, and for me it's the same as a fake Rolex and a real Rolex. It doesn't matter if it's one-to-one, as long as there is an ability to distinguish between one another, then people would always strive for the real one.
When we talk about sustainability, there's also a big argument that is coming from the proponents of the lab-grown diamonds to say that they are more environmentally friendly, more greener than natural diamonds because of the disruption that is caused to the environment by mining.
So I'll be honest with you, I went to see some factories of lab-grown diamond, and it's not a very nice sight to see. So all these arguments about sustainable lab-grown diamonds is kind of wrong, I would say, because those machines are consuming a lot of energy. It's very labor intensive, and they're not adhering to, most of them at least, not adhering to the highest standard, so to speak. So I think that if people would really understand the story about natural diamonds and to see how they actually produce the synthetic diamonds, I think that the public opinion would completely shift.
What has been your takeaway from the first part of this session? We have had the President, Dr. MOKGWEETSI MASISI, the host president, make a statement. We have had a statement from the CEO of De Beers, Mr. Al Cook. What has been your takeaway from the two speakers that have already spoken this morning?
So it's a sign of optimism, basically. So Botswana is on the right direction. It was always been in the last years, and I'm just very happy that it would continue in that direction. And I think that we can all be very optimistic about what would come in the next couple of years, either way. Of course, it's no secret that this year is a difficult year. Difficult year in general. We can see the inflation rising, we can see the demand for diamonds, for natural diamonds, declined because people have less money to spend, unfortunately. But we remain optimistic, and the integrity of natural diamond as a product, that is the most important thing, and that is our job, to keep this product alive and to promote this product in order to keep it a luxurious, sustainable, and important product for the years to come.
And then finally, the model partnership between the government of Botswana and De Beers through what is famously known as Botswana. They had a long protracted sales negotiation that was concluded, I think, early this year, and then the final agreement was signed off in September. As a diamond trader yourself, as you were watching the negotiations go on and as protracted as they were, was there an anxiety from your side, and having seen a conclusion to this deal, what does it do to the diamond market?
So I think that knowing both parties, we remained optimistic, and we realized that eventually it would be done. So I think that there is no anxiety from our side whatsoever.
The stake that Botswana has gotten away from the new deal, it will play a larger role in the downstream area. It will play a bigger role in the beneficiation area, where for many years it had not really played a significant role. How do you think Botswana will perform? What do you think Botswana needs to put in place to make sure that it plays also a bigger role, a successful role in that regard? It's a new venture for the country.
Of course, it's inevitable, because at the end of the day, the Botswanan people need to make a profit from their own product. It's not secret. And this is one way to do so. So I think that it's important to basically invest in this area as well. But there are other ways as well.
Please refer to those ways as well.
So to be involved also in the trading of the diamonds, and of course as a jewelry, the promotion, at new markets. But I think that Botswanan people can teach me how to do it rather than me telling them what to do.
Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you a successful summit.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We will continue our conversation with many other experts. I did allude to the fact that there's many experts that are here this morning participating at the Natural Diamond Summit. This is just one of the speakers that we were able to speak to. We will now take a break because the rest of the delegates have also taken a break. We will join you later on for a panel discussion that will sort of set the tone of the conference going forward. Thank you so much. We will join you later.
And a very good morning to you. Of course, that is the 2023 Natural Diamond Summit, which is underway at the Diamond Dome currently as we speak. And of course, quite a bit has come out of it this morning. We saw His Excellency the President officiating and giving a keynote address. We saw a couple of other speakers, of course, the De Beers Group CEO, Mr. Al Cook, the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Relefoko Moagi, and of course, really just unpacking the theme, sustainability, people, product, planet, really speaking to just strides the diamond industry has made so far, as well as what the future of the natural diamond industry looks like, particularly the natural diamond industry. And you know, something also that I think is quite interesting that just came out right now from an interview that Gifilwe just had, is that this is going to be an experiential summit beyond just the deliberations, the conversations, the presentations by experts and thought leaders. Something that delegates are expected to get is an experiential, summit. They'll get to actually experience the Botswana diamond, how it is mined, as well as get to interact with the diamond itself. Of course, still to come your way, we will be crossing over that side. Understand, more consequential discussions will be taking place. We have a panel discussion that will be taking place just now. One of the most crucial things that, was brought up by His Excellency the President, of course, amongst other key areas that he spoke of that should be kept top of mind by diamond industry, is the fact that the Botswana diamond is ranked as risk-free and clean. We're expecting so much more from this day. We're expecting so much more to be deliberated through, as well as unpacked at this summit. So let's just take a quick break, and we will be crossing back over to the Diamond Hub. So do look out for that.
In a changing and challenging world, the solidity and stewardship of Botswana stands apart. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Masisi, Botswana remains an example to the world of the transformative power of the prudent management of a natural resource. We live in a time when sudden shifts in our geopolitical and macroeconomic contexts are destabilizing and lead some to question their positions. The diamond industry is not immune, and 2023 has been an exceptionally difficult year, as global forces have conspired to slow trading across the diamond pipeline. Following 2 years of record diamond demand and sales in 2021 and 2022, the global economy slowed earlier this year as inflation took root. As a result, consumers chose to defer discretionary purchases, which, in turn, has led to one of the most significant diamond downturns in recent memory. In this challenging context, I would like to share my confidence in the future of diamonds. When you feel unstable, when it feels like the ground is shifting under your feet, you assess your position by checking on your foundations. When I check our foundations, I am buoyed by 3 clear facts, and I am ready to build upon them. First, despite a slowdown this year, the foundations of natural diamonds remain solid and strong. While we have already passed the peak of natural diamond supply, demand for natural diamonds is set to grow into the future. With more than 100 million people entering the middle class in China and India over the next decade, diamonds will remain sought after. Second, the strong foundations of Botswana will underpin the evolution and its evolution to become the world's most important diamond nation. President Masisi's focus on building a knowledge-based economy will support innovation and productivity in diamonds. Thirdly, and finally, the government of Botswana and De Beers' new sales agreement and the extension of the Botswana mining licenses represent a new partnership for a new era. It is a transformative agreement that will see Botswana grow its share of Botswana's diamonds that it sells into the market. It will enable long-term capital investment in important projects like Jwaneng Underground, and it can create tens of thousands of new jobs here in Botswana. We in De Beers are increasing beneficiation to establish this country as a natural jewelry manufacturing center and building a flagship institute of diamonds here in Gaborone. But perhaps decades from now, when our successors look back, it will actually be the creation of the multi-billion Pula Diamonds for Development Fund that will be the most enduring element of the agreement in the diversification of Botswana's economy. Our partnership with the Republic of Botswana has endured for more than 50 years, not by standing still, but by evolving. This new agreement demonstrates the vision of the government to look beyond mining, to look even beyond natural resources, to grow sustainably the prosperity of the people of Botswana for decades to come. Natural diamond supply and demand, Botswana's natural diamond leadership, and a new diamond partnership for a new era. These are three strong foundations from which to build. The question for all of us in the room is, what will we build upon these foundations? And that, the theme of this year's conference, sustainability, people, product, and planet, is core to the partnership between the world's leading diamond country and the world's leading diamond company. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the trust you have placed in De Beers as we adopt your aspirations for Botswana's future as our own. A future in which Botswana's national treasure compels us to treasure nature. A future in which finite value below the ground creates infinite opportunity above the ground. And a future in which a natural diamond represents not just for the person who wears it, but for the miner who discovers it, the cutter and polisher who unlocks its brilliance, and the craftsman or woman who creates natural jewelry designs that inspire people around the world, forever. We see this future happening right here, and we believe that forever begins right now. Thank you very, very much.
I stand before you not only as the portfolio minister and a citizen of a nation that has been, continues to be, at the forefront of the global diamond industry, but also as a champion for a cause that is paramount to all of us, the rethinking of our approach to sustainability in the diamond world. The natural diamond industry has been in existence for hundreds of years. Throughout its history, the industry has experienced many changes, from major technological advances that have transformed productivity and supported value chain development to the consolidation of industry players and emergence of new diamond centers. The sector has seen major evolution and has continued to grow and expand to become an important driver of economic development in producer countries and across the value chains. The industry has thrived for decades transcending many global challenges that have seen other industries and major corporations fail to survive. However, the strategies and approach to business that have seen us through the last 100 years will not necessarily be sufficient to take us to the next century. As has been discussed already, the diamond industry is once again in the midst of major global challenges, and this time the difficulties seem more extensive. These challenges compel us to really consider how we move forward. Our diamonds are not just gems, they are the foundation upon which the hope and promise of our economies has been built. They are the engine through which our aspirations for greater wealth, more diversified economies, the development of people, and a fairer and equitable future can be realized. But this potential can only be fully harnessed if we embrace a new paradigm, one that places sustainability at its very core. Distinguished guests, Botswana has developed a strong narrative around diamond production and responsible natural resource management in general, and over the years has become a top performer on the continent across many indices as a result of its excellent sustainability practices. The question is, how does the country, other diamond-producing nations, and the entire value chain work together to build on the successes to date and ensure the industry remains a catalyst for sustainable growth and development into the future? Value chain development is indeed one of the key pillars of our research and reclaim agenda. A number of critical issues need to be considered as follows. As an industry and as a diamond-producing nation collectively, what stories do we want to be able to share with the world about a diamond journey and impact? How do we demonstrate commonality of interest on the issues of sustainability that is so powerful that the consumer wants to be a part of? What role and responsibility do we all take in protecting the natural environment? How do we minimize harm and generate opportunities for the future? How will these opportunities impact people and livelihoods? How do we ensure that people remain at the center of what we do? What needs to happen in order for them to realize their full potential and become co-participants and contributors to our collective vision for a better future? This applies to people within our organizations and beyond. Natural diamonds can be a catalyst for more equitable development of producer countries. How will we collectively support value addition and beneficiation in the country in a sustainable way? Furthermore, how can we use diamond revenue to generate more momentum around economic diversification? And how do we bring the consumer along this journey with us? As I draw to a close, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in its over 100 years of existence, there's a great deal that the diamond industry has achieved. It is critical that we expand the good industry practices to other sectors and leverage the product to support people and the planet more broadly, the two things without which nothing else can exist. This is in recognition that the good that we do has to extend beyond our day-to-day business. We must lead by example and set the standard for sustainable business practices more broadly. Why is it so important that we act in unison? Unlike any other sector, the diamond industry is very closely integrated. This means challenges in one part of the value chain potentially impact the future of the collective. And for Botswana, of course, anything that impacts the industry has a bearing on the entire economy. And conversely, anything that impacts the producer countries potentially has an impact on the diamond industry. This means we must ensure good practices across the board and support each other, but also hold each other accountable. We will have a chance to interrogate some of these issues in depth during the panel discussions. I hope that we'll be able to use this opportunity to challenge ourselves on a practical level to integrate sustainability more into our day-to-day operations. Lastly, our vision should extend far beyond our current leadership. We must think in terms of generations, ensuring that the benefits of the diamond industry remain a source of pride and prosperity for our descendants.
This is us. We like to walk, talk, and dance until the earth shakes. We like to play. After all, our backyard is 75,000 square kilometers of pristine wilderness. At night, we celebrate under the blanket of the stars. And when day rewards night with a beautiful sunrise, we are welcoming Dumela. So come and fall in love with Botswana. Our pride, your destination.
And the daybreak comes to an end this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, the 2023 Natural Diamond Summit continues throughout today as well as tomorrow. And I'm heading over now to Botswana Connect. Do keep it locked or tuned in right here to BTV News on the Botswana Connect from 10 to 2 p.m. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hello and welcome to the show, Our Amazing World, where we visit wonders of the world and learn interesting facts about them. Kilimanjaro, a well-known mountain in southern Africa with 3 volcanic cones, is the highest single freestanding mountain in the universe with a height of 5,895 meters above sea level. Lying near Kenya, but in northeastern Tanzania, this site attracts over 30,000 trekkers every year. This mountain is made of hardened lava, ash, pumice, and tephra, which dried up from volcanic eruptions. The Kibo volcanic cone is the youngest but highest of the 3. A lot of hikers have attempted to climb this one every year, as it can be climbed without any mountaineering equipment. It is linked to MOKGWEETSI by an 11-kilometer saddle, which is the second highest by 5,149 meters. Shira is the lowest at 3,962 meters. In 1973, the mountain and forests around Kilimanjaro were brought under protection, and Mount Kilimanjaro National Park was created. It was then declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. 7 different routes are used to access the mountain. 5 of these routes are in the southern circuit and pass through the Stella Point to the summit. Approaching from the northeast, the Rungai and northern circuit, the Marangu route, is the oldest and only route with hut accommodation, whereas the others are open for camping. Elephants, buffaloes, eland, blue monkeys, black and white colobuses, and bushbucks can be seen in the park. Mild Tanzanian coffee, sugar, wheat, and barley are cultivated in this region. At the southern part of the mountain, there is the town of Moshi, the chief trading center of the region. It is home to many tribes, including the Chaga, the Kane, the Pare, and Mbungu. Caution has to be taken when visiting the mountain, as 3 to 7 deaths are recorded every year. These deaths are said to be related to heart conditions and altitude-related problems. Despite that, 30,000 trekkers attempt to climb Kilimanjaro every year. Mount Kilimanjaro usually receives rainfall in April, May, and November. In December, the summit is more likely to receive snow. Perhaps the most interesting thing to have ever taken place on Kilimanjaro in September 2014 was when 30 cricket players and officials spent 8 days trekking to the summit of Kilimanjaro in a bid to play the world's highest cricket match. Who knows what other records the mountain might help break? Until we meet again with more amazing world wonders, goodbye.
The road to destiny is not paved with brick and tar, but with vision and determination that unveil over time who we truly are when we get there. The Ministry of Transport and Public Works has embarked on a journey of transformation to enhance the efficiency of transport system in the Greater Gaborone area. This journey of the Greater Gaborone
I have a question on, I think we heard HE say that the Kimberley process should be protected. And in the past couple of days, we heard from the plenary that was taking place that one of the civil societies, the main one, had walked out before the closing remarks, before the finalization of the communique. And I'm just wondering, as a producing state and as an industry player, what are your comments on the reforms that are required to keep the KP relevant amidst this criticism of traceability and the definition of conflict diamonds? And then just quickly on your guidance that you released, this one is to the CEO, Mr. Cook. You released the guidance, Anglo did, a guidance where you are maintaining your targets for this year. How do you reconcile that with the fact that you're saying you're maintaining your targets, but then this is the most, I think you called it, one of the most significant diamond downturns in recent memory? Thank you.
Shall I go? Okay. Let me go ahead. You talked about the KP process and what has been happening lately. With any organization, any program, or whatever is put on the table, we believe in continual improvement. And therefore, we believe that the KP will continue to improve for the betterment of our certification process. That is very key to the provenance of our diamonds. That is very key to all the other issues pertaining to natural diamonds. And we believe that so far so good. The KP process has stood the test of time to be where it is. There will be a continual evolution of technologies that are tracking the provenance of these diamonds, and therefore even the KP itself will have to climb on to whatever new thing that is happening within the industry. So yes, we would want that some of the processes at KP be improved. One of those processes would be things like your decision making. Currently, as it stands, the decision making is through consensus, and we'd find that it sometimes really put hands behind everybody else, because there could be a majority which is really, really pertinent to the industry, but only one voice would actually then destroy that whole thing for the industry because of the consensus decision making. So that is another improvement that really would want to see. But we also believe that as producer countries, especially African producing countries, we know where our diamonds come from. We know how they have developed our countries, and therefore we'll protect them with the integrity that they deserve. Therefore, we are so opposed to this single node identification process that some countries seek to impose on us. We believe that for over 20 years, we've managed that process well for our diamonds here, especially African producing countries. And we believe that if anything else, it is just an enhancement to whatever we do in terms of the provenance journey that we want to continue using for our diamonds. Therefore, yes, we look forward to discussions and negotiations on that front. You would know that right now is topical of sanctions, mostly buoyed by the geopolitical tensions that we see everywhere. And we are alive to that. We are having conversations, and we will issue a statement putting the position of Botswana as regards all these positions that are being put forward. Thank you.
I think De Beers and the government of Botswana are very aligned on both the questions you asked. So I think it's worth starting with a small celebration of the Kimberley process. It is remarkable, as the Minister says, that over 20 years the Kimberley process has so effectively and sustainably addressed the issue of conflict diamonds. I think it's remarkable that in a world as polarized as it is at the moment, that we still have a group that gets together like this to have a civilized discussion about how we can ensure that diamonds are developed for the world's good. I think we should celebrate that. Now, any good organization like the Kimberley process has to be capable of evolving, and it will do, and I think last week's meeting was a step in the right direction. By the way, one thing that came out of last week's meeting, which is really important, was the decision on underpinning and putting structure around around Botswana with its permanent position in the Kimberley process. And that was an achievement that deserves some celebration and recognition, and it underpins the position of Botswana as the growing hub of the world's diamond industry. So I agree that there are ways in which the KP can improve, but we should start by celebrating what the KP has achieved and the fact that in a polarized world it still meets for a civilized discussion. On your second question, you're correct that we're keeping production guidance at De Beers constant going forward. Why do we do that, you asked, in the face of what is a very challenging downturn in diamond demand and diamond pricing? The reason we do it is pure and simple. It's confidence. It's confidence in the long-term value of natural diamonds. So what we believe is that the market will come back, as it has always come back. Cycles are by definition cyclical. The market will come back, and the market will get stronger because supply of natural diamonds is going down. It peaked a number of years ago. And demand for natural diamonds will go up as tens of millions join the middle classes in China and India going forward. And as any economist will tell you, when supply is going down and when demand is going up, that means a very healthy prospect going forward. So because of our confidence in the long-term future of diamonds, we continue to produce in the same way outlined in our guidance, and we build up stocks of those because we're confident that over time the diamond price will increase and we will be able to sell that supply into the growing demand that we believe will come out of the United States as it recovers and its economy recovers, out of China and India as their economies grow, and out of all the other places in the world where people like nothing more than to celebrate the most precious moments in life with the most precious gemstone of all.
Thank you. My name is Rarabilo Ramapani. I report for the Projects magazine and the Weekend Post newspaper. I would like to take you back to the deal, where it was stated that DBS and Botswana would partner on international exploration. I would like you to add a bit of clarity on how this will happen. Are we looking at another joint venture or a special purpose vehicle in instances where you find some economic deposits, and how are you going to advance them? While at that, are there any ongoing exploration, DBS exploration in Botswana? And then the last question would be on the Diamond for Development Fund. Can you just add a bit of clarity on, that's a multi-billion pooler, on how that fund will be administered? What are the targeted sectors? And are you looking at profit-making ventures or supporting existing development finance institutions or something of that sort? Thank you.
Two very good questions. So on the exploration side, I think this is very exciting. So in the agreements, we have agreed that there will be a number of countries in the world where the government of the Republic of Botswana and De Beers explore together. And we believe that matches the diamond expertise of Botswana and its force as the world's leading diamond nation, together with De Beers' unrivaled technological capacity and our understanding of exploration potential around the world. And if you've got the world's greatest diamond country and the world's greatest diamond company exploring together, that gives me a lot of confidence. In the agreement, we set out a series of prospects around the world, ranging from here in Botswana to Canada to Brazil. And we said that we will look at that potential together and work out how we explore those prospects going forward. These prospects have been distilled from our vast database of potential exploration sites around the world, and we wanted to work together on the places that we felt were most prospective for recovering and exploring for diamonds in the long run. And we will look to accelerate that together. We will look to add additional countries together as we prove that this partnership is successful. And I think it's very appropriate that that the greatest diamond producing nation begins to take its skills outside Botswana. And if we in De Beers can play a role in facilitating that, facilitating other countries to learn from Botswana, we would be very proud to do so. Your second question was on the Diamonds for Development Fund. The aim of that fund is to invest, starting with $1 billion pula once the agreements are formalized, and then with contributions of up to $1 billion pula every year going forward. And the aim will be to invest in a variety of sustainable investments. The fund itself will go for decades, but the aim of the fund is not to create a bigger and bigger fund. The aim of the fund is to distribute finances into great Botswanan opportunities, be they in agriculture, be they in knowledge, be they in research, be they in renewable power and natural resources, but to help Botswana to diversify its economy beyond diamonds. So we'll work together to select the most viable opportunities for doing that, and we'll ensure that as much as possible we disperse all the funds out so that we can do as much good as possible. We will work very closely with the government of Botswana to formalise the nature of the disbursement of the funds, and we will listen very carefully to the views of the government of Botswana as to how they believe, how the government believes it is most appropriate to support Vision 2036, the ambitions that the President set out in his State of the Nation address, and all the work that's being done by the government. So we will work together with the government to get guidance on that.
Thank you. I would like to reiterate Al's words. On the exploration side, you'll find that to move into a new jurisdiction, you will need to learn, to start learning from the base. Therefore, we want to be piggybacking on whatever experience and expertise of working in multiple jurisdictions that DBS already has. Therefore, that is one advantage of us coming into this exploration with them, because now we'll be able to fast-track some of these tenements into production areas very quickly, noting that most of our mines are aged, and therefore we'll need to look beyond Botswana if we want to continue to have wealth being generated for this country. Therefore, that is one key aspect that we are really carrying. You'd note that there are countries in Africa well endowed in mineral resources, but they don't have the competence and the experience as Botswana has. So if we get in there, we'll be able to put these resources into production in a much quicker timeline. And therefore, Botswana will continue to generate wealth for its people and Botswana. Same goes for Diamond for Development Fund. This will not be another of the development funds that come out of the fiscus. It will be an added extra out there where we look mostly into young people and their projects so that they can be funded out of these projects. We are looking into the full spectrum of the agro space. We are looking into logistics, into hospitality industry, where we've got mines. We are looking into renewable power, as Al has said, so that we can then advance these, and they are on a profit-making basis. These are not handouts, no welfare. We want people who are really focused on making sure they can generate wealth, they can generate jobs, and they can improve the current status of the economy. So yes, we'll be doing that, and there will be a committee set up between DBS and Botswana, independently run, so that we can look and assess what needs to be financed, such that we can see the figures, and all decisions will be based on the figures that are appealing, nothing else. Thank you very much.
Well said.
Good morning once again to the BSU again. So I'll take you back to the open letter that you wrote to the G7 countries, where you highlighted concerns that in implementing a ban on Russian diamonds, there are likely to be unintended consequences, especially for producer countries such as Botswana. Can you try to highlight and give us an idea what could be those unintended consequences, and how countries like Botswana can be brought on board to be part of the solutions?
Thank you. I think it's worth starting by saying, first of all, we understand and support the desire of the group of 7 countries to impose the restrictions that they plan to impose. And as you say, the real challenge here is how do you do that in an industry as complex as diamonds without having unintended consequences? And what we're really worried about is that badly formulated regulations could damage the very countries that produce ethically sourced diamonds. And Botswana is a great example of that. What we are most keen to do is to reaffirm something that the Kimberley process has brought through, which is the role of government diamond offices in ensuring that diamonds are what they say they are. And we believe that countries like Botswana are able themselves to judge whether a diamond is from Botswana or not. It's not a difficult thing when you're there at the mines in Jwaneng and Orapa. What we're worried about is that some elements of the G7 proposals could involve all the diamonds in the world having to go to a single node, a single place outside Africa for certification that they're not Russian. And we see that as deeply concerning. We believe that countries like Botswana, endowed by this incredible natural resource, should have the freedom to send those diamonds where they want to send those diamonds. They have the freedom to benefit from their natural resource, not to be forced to send them to a single other country in order to be certified that those diamonds are indeed Botswana. And this, of course, applies to all the other producer countries as well. So that's our main concern on the unintended consequences, is to ensure that the freedom of the producers of diamonds to demonstrate that their diamonds are ethical and they're from those countries, rather than to rely on a third party to do that for them.
I want to buttress Al's point, because as Botswana, it also goes against our vision where we want to go with our diamonds in terms of value chain beneficiation. You see, what will happen with this single node is that we produce rough here, then the ask is, take this rough to Antwerp, make sure it is certified. You get a little certificate, you come back to Botswana, you want to cut and polish it here. Antwerp, get a little certificate, you bring it back, you want to make a jewelry. Who is bearing all these costs and the time constraints that we have to go through? You see, so these are the things, and we believe that rather than just put up your position like that, we ought to have been involved, you know, from around the table, where you say, producing countries, this is our concern. Let's sit around the table and let's talk around this. Because apart from the cost and the timing implications for these producer countries, it could actually just swallow the market for these natural diamonds, especially from the African producing countries. Further, the small and medium enterprises in the States are also going to be affected, because you work on a limited budget, but if you have to be ferrying goods, the security involved and the logistics, all of these things, they need to be put into perspective. So really, we believe that there will be some consequences that are unintended, as Al says. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rorsa Mogoja from GABS FM. I'd like to take you both to the Diamonds for Development Fund. What assurances can you give to the public that the fund will actually reach the people that it's meant to reach and do the things that it's meant to do, you know, as opposed to lining up the pockets of certain individuals?
Well, I can tell you straight away, you know, nobody's going to knock on your door. You need to get up, you need to show that you really want to end this fund. Like I said, it's not going to be a freebie that is given to anybody. We want a strong business case. You need to showcase that you really want to develop this product of yours. you need to set up this business. And the figures, your figures, must speak for themselves. Otherwise, it will go to one and the same hands, those who are intended to work for it. So you need to start now before the fund is even here. Make sure you polish your business plan, you put up a very strong pitch so that you can end this, this fund. Thank you.
I'm very confident that we will ensure that this fund is not just something that Botswana is proud of, but an example across the world of how a country can use its natural resources to invest beyond natural resources. The fund will be governed by a board of trustees whose job it is to ensure the professional and ethical distribution of the money that goes into it. Every indication I've had is that we will work together to create a structure led by people whose prime and only desire is to ethically and equitably spend the money in the way that is best for the Republic of Botswana in the long term. I'm deeply confident. How can you know? I think you can hold us accountable.
Once again. Synthetic diamonds have really gained momentum currently. So what is it that the both of you are doing to campaign for natural diamonds internationally? And then is there any chance for the both of you to take advantage of the gap created by the Russian war, because the Russian diamonds are not in the market currently?
Shall I start? Yeah. So I think, first of all, on the Russian war, at the moment we see the market as oversupplied. So we don't particularly see a gap at the moment, but we're confident that over time people will want to buy diamonds from countries like Botswana, not for the negatives, not because what they're not, but because what they are. And what we want to do together with the Republic of Botswana, the government, is to tell the stories of diamonds from Botswana even better, so that when an American, a 25-year-old guy, buys an engagement ring for his fiancée, he will find out not just the value of the diamond that he purchases, but the values. And he will be able, and she will be able, to look at the diamond, to understand through the tracer systems that we bring in, through the branding, through the information that we provide, understand the good that diamond has done in Arapa, in Jwaneng, in Botswana. And then when it's cut and polished in India, that chain of good, that sustainable benefit that brings, all the way from the mine to the finger. So we aspire that people will want to hear that story, and they will buy Botswana diamonds, because there is no country on earth that has done this quite as well as Botswana has.
I think is where the diamond is coming from and what it has done that you have seen for yourselves. We've seen quite a number of couples actually here coming back to Botswana because, if I may take America for example, a lot of the people that came from there, they can't differentiate Botswana from any other country in Africa. But when they came here and they actually saw what diamond money has done for the country, you know, they immediately fell in love with the country. And then they went on safari. And they also saw that, you know, this is a place where I can actually come and propose to my fiancée. And despite everything else, you'd know that everything is on budget. So when you want to do something and you are time constrained, yes, you may want some funds and you get a lab grown. But the moment you are affluent enough and you've got more disposable income, you really want the real natural diamond because of its longevity, its rarity, and everything else that comes with something that is natural. because you can resell this at a later date to upgrade your ring or whatever pendant that you want to do. So what we need to do as producer countries is to continue marketing the natural diamonds by telling a story. In Botswana, we'll tell a Botswana story, what it has done, so that people can really identify with that story, rather than just walking into a shop or buying a ring and then coming out. Yeah, there has to be a story that talks to the diamond that you want to get for your fiancé. So this is where, as a country, we'll be embarking on a major marketing spree, just to make sure that we can really, and we will not spend time in trying to degrade whatever these other diamonds or whatever they call them are, because you spend time and you are giving them airtime, free airtime. So we would rather spend time on our natural diamonds so that people understand why we believe so much in the natural diamonds rather than any other. Thank you.
And just building on that, on your question on lab-grown diamonds, what we're seeing at the moment is a complete splitting of the price and value of natural diamonds and the price and value of lab-grown diamonds. So over the last 2 years, the wholesale price, the bulk price of lab-grown diamonds, if you take a 3-carat lab-grown diamond, that's gone down by 90%. So if you had bought a lab-grown diamond 2 years ago, to the Minister's point, it would be worth 10% of what you had paid for it today. That's a huge decline. What we're seeing is the market splitting. The problem that we have at the moment is that all these cheap diamonds are attractive if someone can falsely claim that a lab-grown diamond is the same as a natural diamond. So what we see is quite a lot of these diamonds being sold into the marketplace, and the cheaper they get, the more get sold. But in the end, a natural diamond is rare. If you take all the natural diamonds that have ever been produced in the world, they would fit in a double-decker London bus. Compare that with lab-grown diamonds, where you can literally produce them by the truckload. Truck after truck after truck. That's not rare. And if you want to commemorate and remember the rare moments in your life, you want something rare to do that with, not something common. If you want your marriage, your relationships to stand the test of time, you want a diamond that has stood the test of time, that has been produced over 1 billion years ago, not something that was produced in a factory in less than 30 days. That's the difference. It's the symbolism of a natural diamond. And I'm absolutely confident that the market for natural diamonds will split off and be as strong as it has ever been, and the market for lab-grown diamonds will be a bit of fun and fashion, and good luck to them.
I've got cabinet.
Okay, one last one. One of the things that has worked for us as a country is that we agreed from the beginning that wherever minerals are found, they don't belong to where they are found. They belong to the state. But we have seen that where these products are produced in Buteti and Jwaneng, we have some of the worst abject poverties there. So I just wanted to, to get from the both of you, in terms of the New Deal going forward, if there will be any deliberate investment in building parallel industries in the mining areas to make sure that once this finite resource is gone, there will be, those towns will not be ghost towns. Thank you.
Well, Ria, you aptly put it. Natural diamonds, wherever they are found, they are for the state, and it goes for national development. That fundamental principle is very key, because had that not been the case, some areas would not even have water in Botswana. I see. So I think we'd want to continue that principle whilst encouraging companies around those areas to also look into the abject poverty that may be around those areas. And as you know, CSR is, it falls under the Companies Act. So it's an issue that we can't farm to mining. But it is something that I think companies must really look intently into, because as we say in other languages, it is a social license to operate. So you'd want, you got in there, you started your mine, you found existing communities with their animals and flora and fauna. So you need to coexist with all these things that you see in there. And coexisting means, because you've disturbed something that they were making a livelihood out of, do something that will really say, I am coexisting with you and parcel of this community. So that's really what would be an encouragement to these companies that are set up within those areas. But also from a local authority point of view, I believe that as we do the district development plans, national development plans, these are part of the things that need to fuse into these, such that when the national cake is being split, we can really spread and make sure that all these areas are taken care of, from infrastructural development, from water, from power, from anything else that they may need in those areas. And key to these is there are some of the low-hanging fruits, like your agro projects, that they can start earning a living out of. So that is the issue that we want to encourage.
I think the Minister has put it very well. No, I've got nothing more to add. Thank you so much for your time and as always, very good and constructive and intelligent questions this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've come to the end of the press conference. Thank you for your questions. I think in closing is just to say that the purpose of this summit is not just for us to take the good diamond story out to the world. We want to bring the world to experience Botswana's good diamond story. And that is why we're having an immersive experience where people can come and see our world-class mining operations and experience what we're doing in the downstream and everything that our good governance and good resource management is doing people of Botswana. So thank you for being a part of this. And if you have any further questions, we are here as the corporate affairs team, both on the government side and De Beers. Please do reach out to us and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Together business community, that brings together legislators, and that brings together key stakeholders that can make sure that they are changing things. So, for example, you would need to change certain legislative policies in certain countries to be able to make sure that you are creating the environment. And so for me, those are the sort of things that will actually give a leapfrog in terms of moving us forward on DE and I.
All right, thank you very much, Mampuga, for that elaborate response. And maybe just staying there with the theme of diversity, borrowing a little bit from Mampuga's presentation. Cheryl, I'm very interested, from your perspective, how do we encourage more diversity in the industry?
So I think from my perspective, being in the jewelry, the design industry for a while, I think that over the years, I have seen people come in and there's been a push to have more diversity on the design front and on the jewelry manufacturing side. But there are steep things that we face. There's a tremendous amount of investment that needs to be made when you are creating your jewelry. And I think that there needs to be a lot of support for jewelry designers when they're coming into the business from different backgrounds and don't have the family, the third and fourth generation family business to sort of support them. They're on their own. We are sort of in a fragile system where people and relationships are made, especially by word of mouth. And there's not a whole lot of foundation there to sustain people. And I think that that's one of the things that we have to address. There are lots of programs and challenges there's a desire to create an environment for jewelry designers and people to get into the business, but we have to figure out a way to keep that foundation strong so that they can continue to strive. And that means supporting them financially, not just for the jewelry show, not just for the one collection, but to actually support them for years, because it really does take a very long time to build your reputation, to build a clientele, to build a collection, to be able to go out to retailers, for retailers to feel that they can trust you, that you're going to be around for years to come to buy your collections and to gain a reputation. It's also about quality of design. That takes time to figure out how to manufacture your product, who you can go to, who you can trust. All of those things, you need support as a designer or someone new to the industry to really sort of mentor and teach you those things so that you can sustain, so that you can survive. And I think that that's a challenging environment right now. In the States, a lot of corporations have leaned in on, creating DEI programs, but a lot of them, I feel like, stop short of really allowing people to flourish because they need time and they need mentoring beyond that first sort of grand push.
All right, thank you so much for that. And still maybe staying a little bit with the diversity theme, coming to you now, Melanie. Can you tell us from your perspective what diversity means in this regard?
I think diversity means different things in different places. In Botswana, we're hearing that it's often focused on gender. I'm from London, and it's often around race and religion. In India, it's around caste. In other places, say in China, it might be around poverty and what background you came from. So I think really what we're talking about is democracy. Who has access? Who has access to power and who has access to the market? And that, for me, is what diversity is. We need all the voices. We can't just have one type of person who is having all of the say, because sometimes people who come out of very poor, very marginalized backgrounds can change the world. So we need everyone, and that takes a lot of risk sometimes, because we often recruit in our own image. So, often men will recruit men, sometimes women will recruit women. We need to recruit people who don't look like us in order to hear everyone's voice. I would also say that comes down to a diversity of thought. So, sustainability, as we're talking about today, is a mindset. It's not necessarily a practice, it's how we think, and we have to get into the practice of thinking in a sustainable way. So, that comes down to culture and economics, but also, as I say, access to opportunity and radical thought sometimes. We have to go outside the box and be brave. And I worked on a project with Cheryl and actually Lola, who's in the front row. We've got some phenomenal designers in the room. And I would love to see many more designers from Botswana and from the African diaspora globally reach a much higher level. When I came to Botswana a couple of days ago, I looked online for the most famous Botswanan jewelry designer I could find, and I couldn't find anyone who is internationally recognized. And I think that's one of our biggest priorities. You need a world-class designer to talk about your story out there in the world and bring people back to you. So if I had one hope for this conference, is that we can find a way to identify talent locally and elevate it to an international level.
Thank you so much for that. And now coming to you, Honorable Minister, I'm sure that in us talking about equity, about diversity, there's still the people theme that keeps cropping up in that space. And I'd like to touch on the issue of people, as they relate to your portfolio. How do you see the role of your ministry in contributing to inclusion and meaningful participation really in the economy of Botswana and to world economy by all, especially those who are not part of the formal economy, who constitute the larger part of our population? I'm sure this is something that you can speak to, especially that your ministry, encompasses these themes.
Okay, thank you very much. I earlier on talked about the policy and legal frameworks that enable us to build on, to diversify and to deliver products and services and opportunities for the different kinds of people, that we have in our country. I must say that when we are preparing, for this season of leadership, 2019. The Economic Recovery and Transformational Plan, that was our framework for recovering from COVID-19, helped us to rethink and to reset. That's why we have the reset agenda, in which we are propelling, value chain development in key sectors, including the sector of tourism, agriculture, and education. And we're talking about utilizing the opportunity that we see, building the opportunities that we see for job creation and for opportunities for small, medium enterprises, large enterprises, the whole economy, by unpacking what used to be a locked economy. Because our tourism, for instance, has always been about wildlife, mainly Okavango Delta and the Chobe, area. Now, when we did the national policy on tourism, which was a revised policy in 2021, looking at what we have learned from COVID-19, we started to study who is the post-COVID tourist. What do they want? What value do they want to pursue? The destinations they want to go to, what is it that they want to be offered? Will they come back for the same elephant they saw last year? No. We realized the post-COVID tourist wants more experience. They want to be in touch with people. They want to be in touch with the culture. If we say this is the country that produces the best diamond by value in the whole world, they want to come to that place and relate to that story. They want to see, how we live and so forth. So we expanded, opportunities within the sector to agro-tourism, to where you can keep wildlife in your, farmland, to cultural tourism. We have seen an increase in a lot of events, cultural events across the country, people promoting their culture, which we want to be able to see growing numbers of tourists coming to participate in. So we have a very good framework. Now, in that framework, we are offering and promoting value chains in terms of jobs and opportunities for SMMEs, for instance. Here, when we begin to host events, because the meetings, incentives, conferencing events, the MICE, we have finalized the strategy for it. And in the strategy, we are saying Botswana is pushing for becoming the best destination for meetings, international conferences. That's why we boldly stood up to host the US Africa Business Summit, Forbes Under 30 for the second time. It's coming up again next year and all that. We don't have the best facilities, but intentionally we stand and we say, come, we'll give you what we have. This is a dome, it's a temporary structure, but all of you can say, we can host and give you the best of this thing. So inclusion in that space is that every event that you hold, we provide a marketplace for our SMMEs. You will see them displaying and selling their crafts, their leather products, their different products they produce from natural resources and so forth. It becomes a whole marketplace for everyone, apart from just having discussions and panels and so forth. So we are gearing ourselves for that. And we will be building a lot in terms of strengthening our collaboration with private sector, for investment in the necessary skills and the necessary infrastructure, so that we can have good hotels, good conference facilities. Later in this month, from 22nd to 24th, we have, since 2021, been pushing for a tourism investment forum that will happen for the very first time. So all of you investors come here so you can help us build the necessary infrastructure, build our CESAs, special economic zones, because we have proven and tested ourselves as a country that we can host. Here we are, even today. Now, let me talk about mining, and maybe touch also about how we are improving our National Museum to become the state-of-the-art museum, where we also want to see our diamonds and other products that will help us to, to showcase. A diamond museum, I will call for it in this very panel. I want to talk about three of the focus areas: planet, people, and the product, just to maybe round what I think would be what will help us to do or to drive inclusion, diversity, and so forth. In terms of people, and we are talking natural diamonds, where these diamonds are mined are communities that have been there before we even discovered the mines. So we have a success story as a country, as a nation, as a government, to ensure that those communities are considered as part of, the investments that you do and the revenues, to benefit them. And we have a special project, the community social responsibility and policies of the mines and stuff like that, including also, which I want to commend, DBS, the Botswana for, ensuring that the mining activities are actually safe enough that people can still be living around, Letlhakane or Rapa and Jwaneng and so forth. So also creating opportunities for to create jobs, like they have been talking about, beneficiation opportunities for more jewelers from this country, more retailers and stuff like that. We want to make sure that the people will be incentivized to see these diamonds not as a resource that benefits some people far away from us, but they can see, the investment. I want to say that from history, we have been showcasing ourselves as a country that has utilized the diamond revenues for the development of our people. I'm speaking very good English, not because my mom could afford to take me to school, but because diamond revenues built primary schools and ensured that all of us went to school. I did master's degree, I could still have done PhD. And we have seen equitable resources of basic distribution of basic things like, rolling out education to everybody. So we still need to be able to see where else we can put investments to even, deal with poverty and elevate the communities out there. Let me talk about the planet quickly just to round up. I talked about policies. We have the climate change policy, waste management policy, energy policies that I want to commend private sector like the bank ABSA, like even FNB and other companies who are transitioning to become green businesses with the green bonds and everything. I was impressed. I just had a meeting with her last week when we were talking about climate change and how we, for the first time as a government, have opened for private sector even to go to COP28 together and get them to invest in the space of protecting our planet. So I think we are standing on a good ground. I want to end with the product. First of all, the value of this product is the nature. It gives it the brand natural diamond. It means that it stands out from any other diamond. It's not just a natural diamond from anywhere. It's a natural diamond from a country that knows how to treat its natural resources very, very well. So this is a brand that you must promote, to profile. It is a brand that you must attach more value to. It is a brand that you must proudly, as every Motswana, speak about. Now, talking about diamond and tourism, this is the gap that I think we are going to close because we've started. We want that diamond museum, madams. In the diamond museum, people will begin to get the story of how the diamond has been mined, how it has educated Makering and many other people out there, how it has built our health, infrastructure and provided basic services, water and so forth. We want to close this gap where diamond mining and diamond trade are isolated from each other with tourism. Now, in terms of the product, diamond, natural diamond, if we begin to tweak how we package it, we will begin to see that tourists that come here, because they want to enjoy our natural landscapes, diamond must also feature in there. Their experience must also include the glitter of a diamond. How can we do that? Retailers that sell Botswana diamond, we want to see Botswana diamond in a ring, on a pendant of a necklace that is traceable to Botswana. You can get diamonds from everywhere, sell them, but please bring out the Botswana story to every piece of diamond that you get from this country, because there's a story. So instead of just selling a nice, beautiful necklace and piece of ring, can we please have it traceable to this country? Then we will begin to have people wanting to know, where is this country? What kind of country is this? They want to visit. Now we have increased the number of tourists. This is what I want to see, that our diamonds are bringing people to come here. So the diamond that the Okavango blue diamond in the Natural Resource Museum somewhere in New York that I visited, I said I want the story, so that somebody who reads the little information would immediately want to visit. We want to see, to hear tourists who say, I came to the Okavango Delta and I toured the diamond mining town of Jwaneng or Letlhakane or Rapa. I came to engage my fiancé, or to marry here, or to renew my vows, or for a honeymoon following the diamond ring that I bought for my fiancé. These are the stories that I want us to package so that we can be able to bring tourists here. We need to elevate and amplify the glory in the value of Botswana diamond through our people that we can capacitate, skills development. We have our creatives, filmmakers, actors, songwriters, people who sing. Our people are very good and they are very skilled. Our young people are unemployed. Photographers and all of them you see here, they need to be assisted so that they can take the Botswana destination story, diamond story, beef story, everything, and they can take Botswana out to the globe and bring people, to come visit, to come live here, to come invest here, to come and marry here. I mean, the diamond is there. What are they waiting for? They are waiting for the voice that we need to amplify so that we can bring out this glitter into the global space. I think what we need is just this connectivity that you can work together. Finally, I want to commend DBS. When we had a talk with National Geographic and themselves in the Okavango Delta last year in September, we talked about a film. Now we have Nkashi film. It's already out there. People who can take an idea, a request, and build it quickly and deliver. Now we want more of the films about Botswana diamond story, about the people around the diamond mining, and then we can be able to put that into Netflix, whatever you want, so people can be able to know more about this country. May I stop here and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Budosa. I'd still like to, stay with you a little bit, Honorable Minister. You had a mouthful to say, and I think you touched on very important thematic areas. You spoke about, value chains as well as beneficiation in this regard, and the fact that there's frameworks that are already existing to cater, for those that are the communities that actually are around these areas in terms of, mining as well as tourism. Now, I'd like to know from your perspective if you think more can be done in this regard. When we talk about beneficiation value chain, you find that people in these communities, normally get the crumbs, if you will, of, industries in this regard. We're talking the diamond industry as well as the tourism industry. We find them in blue-collar jobs more than the actual, ownership of some of the value chain areas within these sectors. What more can be done to ensure inclusivity in this regard, to ensure that when we speak value chain, you're able to find a Motswana from Mandunya, wherever it is, who actually owns, an entity in this space?
They just have indicated that they want to see more Botswana creators in terms of jewelry production and jewelry retailing, getting out and becoming profitable business entrepreneurs. What do we need here? What we need to do is to ensure that they are given the proper skills and they can be guided onto the best investment, whether it's joint venture partnerships and stuff like that. Look, we have got a number of government funds to young people, to communities, the National Environmental Fund, the Tourism Development Fund, that you are helping our communities to do ecotourism projects and so forth. The problem is the skills. So if we can focus more on building skills, that will turn them into people who can do enterprise, people who can compete business-wise in the global space, then we will be able to do that. Try and improve on our curriculum and infuse things like tourism so that, kids can also, begin to, at an early stage, to understand that this is a sector that they can thrive in. Secondly, connecting our people with the market. We have got people who are, producing good crafts, of value natural resource, cosmetics, jewelries, and so forth. The only thing they can do is maybe to sell, just around town and stuff like that. Now, the AFCFTA, they talk about the opportunities that we can utilize to scale our people in, and, being able to have their goods, their services, to get into in markets, both within the continent and so forth, AGOA and all that. So we need more synergies so that we can build. Now, in the space of natural resources that we promote as a ministry, people have access to Mopane Wem, they have access to forests, they have access to wild berries, they have access to wildlife. We have these packages, but we can actually enhance, the profitability and the capacity for them to raise their enterprise, through skilling them, through partnering with them, just intentionally wanting to go out and get these people. The Ministry of Entrepreneurship is there, and we are hoping a lot on them to be able to help us to skill our young people, our creatives, people who have got skills, even people who know culture. They can tell the story we need to be able to utilize the opportunity to build them so that they become storytellers and trade within that. The ministry last year, the Parliament passed a legislation, access and benefit sharing, so that we can protect indigenous knowledge and intellect, so these people can be able to trade in that. You should pay that man who tells you the story about, when the diamonds were found and how they were living and stuff like that. So I think we just need to talk more about business capacitation, entrepreneurship skills, and building synergies between enterprise and conservation, and so that we can be able to get the skills, our skilled young people, women out there. Women in mining, I know they are there somewhere. Can we help enterprise them more with the skills and opportunities, even with funding, so that they can tell the story, they can trade, and they can compete globally? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And okay, you would like to weigh in on that as well?
Hi. Okay. I just wanted to build on what the Honorable Minister had said, especially in relation to skills, and just put some few data points for us to think about. So in this country, we have an average of 12,000 graduates per annum that graduate from tertiary institutions. Out of those, only 10% have the skills that are required for businesses, not even tomorrow, right now, current skills, which means the bulk of the people are going through tertiary training that is not relevant for today and certainly not relevant for tomorrow. What that means, coming back to the point that has been made by the Honorable Minister, is that there's need for serious dialogue, that we need to bring the private sector together. We need to bring industry, we need to bring government, we need to bring tertiary institutions to make sure that we fundamentally revamp some of the curriculum and ensure that it's relevant for the skills that are needed and for the market. We talk about jewelry skills, manufacturing skills, we talk about whether it's tourism skills, those are critical. I also think the other thing is, how do we make sure that we incorporate those into the curriculum way before, not when they graduate, not at the time when they look for employment. But as a country that is really endowed by diamonds, they should be fundamental to the curriculum at a very early stage. And that requires private sector to come together and work on content of the curriculum that's relevant for business today. Just to give example from a De Beers point of view, as part of the discussions that we've been having with government and the outcomes of the negotiations, we've made a couple of commitments. And one of the things is to make sure that we build a vocational training institution, which is really going to help us to make sure that we build those vocational skills. It is an attempt, it is not the only solution, but collaborating and bringing together the business would be able to do that at scale and get the impact. The Honorable Minister talked about business entrepreneurship. That's one of the commitments we've made as a company, that we will be building diamond entrepreneurship skills to make sure that we're building the capability for those people to run those businesses. Albeit that is an effort, once again, to scale it up is going to require collaborative effort by the business community, people like APSA and amongst other organizations. So I just wanted to add to the point that the Minister was making on skills and the need to make sure that we bring together several stakeholders. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Mampugwa. And staying there with the business capacitation theme, Mayor Moshahani, maybe let me bring you in here. What is the role of the private sector in supporting in this regard? You know, there was a conversation around the need for support and the need for funding and for financing, and maybe you can share from your view as well, from a financial services perspective.
Yeah, so let me start by saying, I think for me, it's all about creating a resilient, effective, and inclusive financing to the value chain for us as a banking industry to make a meaningful impact. And if I take it, just few examples, specifically at APSA, we have a product or a program called Enterprise Supply Development Program, What it does is it's aimed at financing the value chain of different industry in a non-traditional manner. And secondly, it is aimed at building capacity, because access to finance is one thing. What is also critical is to continuously build the capability and capacity within the various industries that we finance. And if I look just at the past 3 years, we have disbursed around 2.4 billion to mining-related projects, as well as the value chain in diamond mining specifically. Of that 2.4 billion, 1 billion was disbursed to SMEs, which has really been the catalyst to the development of SMEs in our country. I think just beyond providing financing, it's about also driving inclusivity, which from the banking industry is about how do you make the banking services and products that we offer accessible, affordable, and of good quality to all, including the unbanked population. And to that effect, we have been deliberate around just training over 3,000 enterprises across the country, which in return, because of the capacity that we have built and being inclusive to starting with a small SME that is starting from the street upwards, we have helped them to create over 1,300 jobs over a period of time. I think for me,